Hey everyone, my name is Tim from OnlineTeacherDude.com. Welcome back to my channel. I am an online teacher, hiring coach, business coach, helping online teachers be successful in this industry. And you're watching me in my ASQ, Alternative State Quarantine Hotel, where here I am in Bangkok, Thailand, starting a whole new adventure during a pandemic. And pardon me for the scenery, this is what you get. And if you're new here, look below and make sure you're subscribed to the channel and jump over to Instagram at OnlineTeacherDude, where you'll see some behind the scenes of my life, my travels, and my business. And did you know that I have a free course for online teachers? I've got a 4-module course that walks online teachers from start to finish, to getting hired, to tips for your demo, to my booking success framework, and so much more. I'd love you to go and grab that at OnlineTeacherDude.com/free course. So, VIPKid. I have wondered about quitting VIPKid for a long time now. As my other income streams have grown, and as I have grown as an online teacher and, explored different ways of making income and helping and supporting online teachers like you, I have wondered about the future of my VIPKid career. So am I quitting? Absolutely not. I'm not quitting VIPKid right now, but if you stick around to the end of this video, I will share with you my goals for where I want to go with VIPKid or not go, and where I sort of see myself with actually teaching online in the future. But in this video, I want to share 5 things to consider or questions to ask yourself if you've been on the fence about quitting VIPKid, or maybe scaling back your classes, or putting Dino in the drawer forever. Whatever the case may be, hopefully these 5 questions will help you as you consider your options. The great thing about VIPKid is that there are no minimum hours required. And this is the case for many online ESL companies, especially for the ones that I work for and have gotten contracts and gotten hired for and taught for. I don't want to work for a company that bounds me to a schedule or that requires me to teach a certain number of classes each week or each month. And so the reason why I bring that up is that even if you're on the fence about quitting VIPKid, or even if you are going to quit VIPKid, always sign the contract. Being that VIPKid doesn't require minimum hours, it doesn't really seem to make a lot of sense to not sign the contract. I have had many former VIPKid teachers reach out to me and say, you know what, I was gung-ho with quitting, I didn't sign my contract, and here I am a year or a year and a half later, and I would love to be able to pick up some hours on the weekend. Well, guess what? They've lost their base pay that was probably higher before, they've lost all their students, and they have to start all from scratch, from going through the application process, the demo, and the mock class. And that's not fun. So my suggestion to you is, if you're even considering quitting or you want to take a break, always sign the contract. Okay, the first question that I think is so important to ask yourself when you're wanting to quit VIPKid or any online teaching company is to ask yourself, am I experiencing burnout? Burnout is a real thing in this industry because we are paid for the time that we put into teaching students. And sometimes we're able to add on more hours and make more money. And the tendency to want to work more into an unhealthy amount of hours is tempting. And sometimes that can cause burnout. Now, burnout can look like different things for different people. Maybe you're losing lots of sleep and you're starting to, feel really fatigued all the time. Or you're starting to lose your patience with family members throughout the day. Or maybe you're just noticing that your quality of life is going down because of the odd hours that you're having to work and the amount of hours that you're having to work. Number 1, staring at a computer, and number 2, teaching children all the time. So these things, when they're aggregated together, can really cause teachers to feel that sense of burnout and that lack of desire to want to continue teaching. It doesn't necessarily mean that you need to quit this company altogether. It might mean that you need to take a break. It might mean that you need to take 1 day off a week instead of working 7 days a week. Or it might mean that you need to take a prolonged break, and it might mean that you need to quit altogether and perhaps look at other ways of making income or other job opportunities, or just taking a break, which is also okay. The second question to ask yourself or thing to consider is, do I have a backup? Now, if VIPKid is your only company and your only source of income, then maybe quitting is not really in the cards for you at the moment. I always suggest and recommend that online teachers have more than one income source and especially work for more than one company. It doesn't mean that you have to actively teach for more than one company, but certainly having more than one contract in your back pocket is really important to have. I have 3 or 4 contracts with other companies, and should I want to stop teaching with VIPKid altogether, I have other options. And sometimes those other options really bring a solution to the real problem of burnout or not wanting to work for a particular company anymore, because it provides variety, different students, and a different platform altogether. So if you don't have a backup and you are getting tired of working for VIPKid, certainly consider adding a backup. I've got some links in the description of this video for other companies similar to VIPKid that you might consider. I will also stick a video up in the cards here, which give you 5 VIPKid alternatives that I recommend if you're looking for other options. Question number 3 to ask yourself if you're considering stopping working for VIPKid or quitting altogether is, can I sustain myself without working for VIPKid? Now, if you've considered stopping teaching with VIPKid, I'm sure you've asked yourself this question many times, and it's important to consider, what type of income streams do you have, and are those income streams stable, or do they fluctuate? And for me, a lot of them fluctuate, and so VIPKid is my kind of core side hustle that I can 100% rely on, even though sometimes bookings come and go. I'm pretty stable on the platform, and that's one reason why I keep it as an option and as a income source. But for you, you might want to think about, removing that income from VIPKid altogether and look at whether or not you're able to still live the kind of life that you want to live, that you're still able to provide for your family or use the VIPKid income for whatever you want it to use. Are you able to do that with another source of income? And if the answer is yes, then maybe quitting is an option. Sometimes I like to think of these different income sources as a plant garden. We water our plants to help them grow, and sometimes they're just not growing. Some plants grow better than others, and some just wither away and die. And if you're still able to sustain the garden that you want, the life that you want, then perhaps letting one of those plants go, letting one of those income sources go is not a bad thing, especially if by quitting or reducing your hours with VIPKid is going to let you work on something more. It's going to let you put more time and investment into those other plants to help them grow bigger and bigger. And that's certainly what I'm doing in my own business. As I decrease my hours for VIPKid, I'm able to pour more effort and more energy into my other business opportunities. VIPKid has always been fun for me. I mean, a lot of you probably think the same thing. How do I get paid to do something that's so enjoyable? And that's why VIPKid was such a great opportunity for so many people when it started. And for so many, it still is and continues to be. The ability to work at home, to have a flexible schedule, it's awesome. And a lot of people have found other opportunities with platforms like OutSchool and GoGoKid and Magic Ears and independent teaching and creating their own business with multiple types of income sources. The sky really is the limit with the internet. But I want you to ask yourself, is VIPKid still fun? And I think that when it stops being fun, it is a good indication that something needs to change. Does it mean that you have to quit altogether? Absolutely not. But it might mean that you need to make some changes. Maybe you cut back on your hours, and as we talked about before, maybe you take more days off, or you take an extended break, or you quit altogether and stop opening slots. Do you dread opening that schedule every day? Do you dread turning on the camera? Has it become boring and mundane? This happens, and it doesn't mean that you're a bad teacher. It doesn't mean that you hate teaching, and it certainly doesn't mean that you hate online teaching. It just means that you might need to make some changes. And so with that 4th question, if it has stopped being fun and you're able to check that box, then maybe it is time to consider other options. And my 5th question to ask yourself, if you're considering quitting VIPKid, is, are you ready to start making more money? Are you ready to start building a business, or are you ready to start looking at other income sources? If you've considered quitting VIPKid, maybe it's because you've got another job. Fair enough. You are going to work at another company, or you're going to go back to a brick and mortar type position. Great. So then quitting VIPKid makes sense. And as I said, always sign the contract because you never know when you might want or need it in the future. But maybe you're thinking about cutting back your hours or quitting VIPKid because you're building something else, because you're building other income sources, or you've got an idea to teach under your own name, or you want to tutor privately with your own students. You want to build your own business, create a website, create sales funnels, do marketing, create an email list, structure a program that is specific to a particular type of student that you want to be able to reach and provide results for. I've done this multiple times in my business, and I encourage anyone that is thinking about doing it to jump in. Ask yourself what's stopping you from moving forward, especially if you're at the place of feeling like maybe VIPKid has run its course in your life and you're looking for something new, something different. I'd invite you to consider, what is stopping you from building your own business? What is stopping you from reaching higher, from dreaming bigger for your life, from really reaching your full potential for what is possible? Because I believe that teachers make excellent entrepreneurs and that there is something inside of all of us to be able to offer to the world. I'm doing this with my coaching program called Launch. If you're interested on hearing more about it, or you want to learn more information, head on over to onlineteacherdude.com/launch. I would love to chat with you and see if it's a good fit. And I told you if you stuck around to the end of this video, I would tell you what my plans are with VIPKid. I'm not quitting right now, but I have slowly decreased my hours over time to a place where I'm really not worried about whether I teach classes one day or not. I only teach short notice to get that extra bonus, that extra short notice pay. Sometimes they don't always fill, most of the time they do, but I'm able to pick and choose when I want to work. And if I'm busy one day with other things, I won't open classes, and that's okay. So I'm at a place of not relying on VIPKid and looking at other income sources and growing those with the extra time that I have by not teaching. So my goal is to kind of wean out VIPKid before the end of this year and really evaluate if working for a company is something that I want to continue to do. I do like having that little pocket of income that comes in from VIPKid. It's able to take care of certain expenses that I have, and I can always rely on it every single month. As well, I love being in the online classroom and being on the ground with these companies because I do so much coaching and support for other online teachers to get hired and to build a business. So that's what I'm doing. I would love to know, what are your plans? Are you a VIPKid teacher interested in cutting back or even diversifying or growing your online teaching income or doing something completely different? Leave it in the comments below. I would love to hear about it, and I reply to all my comments. Of course, if you've got specific questions or you want to know more about what I offer and how I can help you, head on over to Instagram at OnlineTeacherDude and send me a DM. Thanks for being here, everyone. Make sure you're subscribed, and I will see you in the next one.